all you wonderful cripples, non-cripples out there. Welcome to my channel. My name is Bartley, and this is... So today I'm going to be talking about where I live. I live on the Isle of Man. Bing! The Isle of Man is an amazing island. It is situated between England and Ireland. If you're from England and you've always wanted to know what that little rock is in between Ireland and England, well, that is the Isle of Man. The Isle of Man roughly stretches 33 miles long and 13 miles wide. That must seem like a really small place to all you English and American people watching this video, but you'll find that it is home to nearly 90,000 people. A lot of you might have heard about the Isle of Man because of the TT and the Manx Grand Prix we have over here. TT is an annual bike road race that we have every year. We're on our, I think it's 107th year of doing it now, and that happens the last week in May and the first week beginning June. The bikes do not race on a circuit, they are racing on public roads. Most of you probably know what the TT is, but for those of you that don't, basically they close a good section, I think it's 38 miles, 38 3/4 miles, I think, quote me if I'm wrong. Within them 2 weeks, our island must double because people from all over the world come to watch the Isle of Man TT racing. It is a dangerous sport. People do die in the TT. Mainly the come-overs that do, sorry, we call them come-overs because they're not from here. There's mainly the come-overs that die, that think they know the roads. So within them 2 weeks, we have practice sessions every evening from 6 till 9 p.m. usually, where the roads are closed, the circuit of the course is closed, and race week we do it Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Unless the races have been cancelled on the Monday, then we'll go to the Tuesday. If they've been cancelled on the Wednesday, we'll go to the Thursday, and if we've been cancelled the Friday, they will go on the Saturday. Now, non-race days, visitors to the Isle of Man forget, I think, that the roads are closed, and that's how they end up dying. The last couple of years, they have made the main part of the course, which is the mountain course, they have made that one way, and it has reduced risks of accidents, but you still get the odd idiot that tries to overtake a car and doesn't know the corner or something like that, and they end up killing themselves. So that's TT. That happens in Manx Grand Prix as well. That is a couple of months after. I think it's August. I don't really know the weeks for that because I don't really follow the Manx Grand Prix. Manx Grand Prix was made really for the older bikes, like the one-cylinder bikes. People that are wanting to do the TT, that they need, I think it's 5 years, they need to ride in the Manx Grand Prix before they can go to the Isle of Man TT. So that it was TT and Manx Grand Prix. We also have our own language. There's not many, I think there's one person I know that speaks fluent Manx. Manx is our language, it's M-A-N-X. It's Gaelic, I think. Is it Gaelic? Yeah, I think it's Gaelic. I only know a few words. If you've been to the Isle of Man before, you'll know that most of us say yes sir. It's spelt yes sir, but put together, there's no space, so it's yes sir. A lot of Manx people say that. I don't 100% really know what it means, but from what I've heard from other people, it means that's good or mate, around that area. But I say it, I'm not even Manx. I always go, alright, yes sir, like that, or Yeah, alright, Sal is another one. Alright, Sal, that's another one. I know a few more. Moramai is good morning, and Fastamai is good afternoon. They're the only ones I really know. There are a few others that I've heard people saying, but I don't really know what the meaning is, so I'm not going to go into that. So that was our language. We are a very cultural island. The Vikings is a big part of the Isle of Man. The Vikings did raid the Isle of Man. They lived in Peele Castle. I'll put a picture up there now. And see, they raided. I don't really know the history of it, but I'm going to try my best anyway. From what I've seen in the museum that they have. Basically, the Vikings raided the Isle of Man, but we were shielded by a Manannan cloak, which shielded us from. Was it from the Vikings? I don't know. I don't really know. But the Isle of Man was something to do with Vikings and blah 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 blah. So we have we have a museum in Peele called the House of Manannan, believe it or not, and that gives you all culture of the Vikings being over here. And so if you've been to the Isle of Man, if you've been to the museum, it is an ace museum. If you're planning on coming to the Isle of Man, go and visit the Manx. There's two. There's a Manx Museum, and that's more to do with TT, and they have the House of Manannan as well. So I recommend go and check those out if you're planning on coming over, because it does tell you a lot about the culture of the Isle of Man. Next is if you've flown in from the UK or wherever, or Ireland, you'll notice a thing called the Ferry Bridge. Now, once you're leaving the airport, I don't know which way it is because I don't go down there often, but you go over a ferry bridge. Now you'll be thinking, ferry bridge? Manx people believe that fairies do live under this particular bridge. When you drive over it, there are flowers and there's cards and like little ribbon things for the fairies. And Manx people believe that if you don't say hello fairies, or good morning fairies, or good afternoon fairies, or good evening fairies, bad luck comes to you. I did get told a story when I was at school that some guy didn't say hello fairies when he was going over the bridge, and unfortunately the next bend after the bridge is a sharp corner and he went straight into the wall and he died. I don't know how true that is, but that's what Manx people believe, that if you don't say hello to the fairies, bad things can happen to you. The next one is a funny one. Manx people don't like the word rat. Touch wood. I'm not going anywhere. Excuse me. Evie, down. 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 Good girl. Sorry, it's because I whistled. Yeah, if you're wondering why I just did that, Manx people don't like the word rat, because it's bad luck. Manx people usually spell it, they usually go R-A-T. Another words they use are ringies, or long tails, or queer fella. I don't really know what that's about, but I don't say it a lot. When I'm with Manx people, I do respect them, and I do say ringy or an R-A-T. But if I'm talking to family, we're not from here, so we say the word. And we also have Manx cats. If you haven't seen a Manx cat, there's a picture now. Bing! A Manx cat is a cat with no tail. That's pretty much it. As a Manx cat is the cat with no tail. Funnily enough, there's a pub called the Cat with No Tail, which do really good beer. I don't know where this came from. I think it's something to do with they used them for hunting, or I don't really know. But Manx cats have not been docked. They are born without a tail. I think it's over generations and generations of having no tail. They've been docked. That they've just kind of found it in their genes to be born without a tail. You don't see a lot of them about. On my estate, there's none. I have seen one past couple of months. It was on the MSPCA website. If you don't know what the MSPCA is, it's a bit like the RSPCA, but the Manx version. So yeah, they have basically Manx cats have no tails. Don't know why really, but when you do come across them, they are really weird. Most of them are quite nice as well. They do come up for a cuddle if you see one. Not when I've got my dog with me. Obviously they don't. Saying that, there's a cat down the road that's a ginger Tommy, and it's not scared of cats. It's not scared of dogs whatsoever. Evie unfortunately likes cats. I had her off the lead. I'm just going to tell you a story now. Sorry, I'm going off subject here, but Evie came across a cat one day. Evie happened to be off the lead over the field at the back. The cat came out the tram lines, and Evie went towards this cat. The cat, being it's obviously brought up with dogs, didn't bother with Evie, so therefore Evie just buggered off. It seems to be when cats run, Evie wants to chase. She doesn't do it all the time. It just depends on what mood she's in. When she's on the lead, she's not so bad. If I use the command "get on," then she'll carry on. She'll look at it, but she won't try and go to it. She's quite good in that sense. But if she's off the lead, she's going for it. The cat runs, she'll run. I usually shout "come here" like really, really loud, and she does come back. She's learning to leave a lot better. So yeah, that was a Manx cat. The next one, I go. This is a place on the way to the west side of the island called Peele. Funnily enough, where Peele Castle is, hence the name Peele Castle. You have to go around this really sharp bend, and it's got a cliff on the right hand side of it. When you're on a bus, it's quite scary because it is literally a drop. They have put a wall there so you can't fall off, but they call it the Devil's Elbow. Don't really know why, but the Manx people believe that if you talk in any way round while you're going round the bend, bad things happen to you. A bit like the Ferry Bridge. So it's quite interesting actually. When you're on a public bus, everyone will be talking, and as soon as the Devil's Elbow comes up, the bus just goes silent. It does make you chuckle sometimes. So that's the Devil's Elbow, and then when you go on your way to Peele Castle, there is another myth of a dog called the Mahdi Do, or is it Moody Do? I'll put the picture there. If I can find a picture, I'll put one there. Basically, that dog they believed that the dog was like a spirit and could transform into anything human-like, or any other rabbit, but it used to haunt people. I think it's now been, was it buried there? I don't know, but that's the story of Peele Castle, the Mahdi Do. It has been spotted, apparently. You just see these big red eyes, like cat's eyes type of thing, but bright red. That's the Mahdi Do, coming to haunt you. So yeah, that's the Mahdi Do of Peele Castle. If you're coming to the Isle of Man, go and check out Peele Castle. You can walk around it for nothing. I think you have to pay to go inside. I think you get a tour when you're inside. But it's worth going in to have a look at Peele Castle. I don't know why I'm saying that, because I've never been in Peele Castle, but I can't because there's stairs. But from what I've been told, Peele Castle is ace. I have seen an aerial view of it. There isn't actually a roof in some parts. It's like the outside of it, so to speak, and then like the grass mound in the middle. But it is good. I've seen pictures of it on the web. It is good to, if you like cultural stuff and stories and stuff like that, then go and check Peele Castle out if you're ever over. As I said though, but you can walk around it for nothing. They have a walkway and you can go right around the castle. There's a picture of me now, of me outside the front gates the other night when I went down to visit the family. But yeah, it's Peele Castle and that's the Mahdi Do. The next one is the steam train. The steam train used to be all island wide, hence why I just mentioned a minute ago about the tram lines. That used to be the old steam train, but they have still got the steam train that takes you from Douglas to Port Erin. Douglas is the east side. If you're coming on the ferry from the UK, that's where it takes you to Douglas, and then you can get the steam train right down to the bottom of the island, which is Port Erin. I've done that a few times. It's quite good actually, because they didn't really have wheelchair access, but now they do. Unfortunately, it used to be the old luggage. The luggage compartment bit that they've made wheelchair friendly. Depending on what time of day and what tram it is, what steam train it is, and what trailer they use. Sometimes you get a big piece. Sometimes you get a whole carriage to yourself with like 5 or 6 chairs in it, so your friends and family can sit with you. Or it's literally just 2 chairs and enough room for a wheelchair to fit sideways. So that's the steam train. That comes up, I think, 4 times a day or something. I don't know if it's just a summer period or not. You might have to check that up if you're coming to the Isle of Man and if you want to go on that. We also have a horse tram that takes you on Douglas Promenade. Douglas Promenade is about 4 miles long, I think. It is cool. They tried to stop it at one point because they wanted to try and move it onto the actual prom instead of the road where the cars go. But I don't really know what's happening with that at the minute. There was talk of it, but the horse tram goes up and down Douglas Promenade, right literally from end to end. From the other end, you can then jump onto the electric tram. Now, the electric tram can take you from Douglas all the way to Ramsey, which is all the way at the top of the island, and it also takes you up our mountain. Now, our mountain is only just a mountain. I think I can't remember the numbers, but it's like 3 miles above a mountain that gets classed as a mountain. And at the top of that mountain, where the tram takes you up, there is a cafe at the top, which is, I've never been there because the wheelchair trailer can't go up the mountain because it's so steep. So you have to get off at the start of the mountain road, unfortunately. So they have like a cafe at the top. That cafe, I think the tram stays there for about 45 minutes to an hour to let you have a break. And I've heard that the views are amazing up there. You can see all 7 kingdoms on a good day. Yeah, that brings you back down then, back into town, and then, yeah, that's what the tram does. I've never been on it personally. I've never really found a need to go on it. I've never actually tried the disabled carriage, but I know there is a disabled carriage. But yeah, going up to the mountain road. The mountain road, I don't know how long it is, probably about 12 miles, 13 miles or something long. That is the only road on the island, I think. That's the main road on the island that has no speed limit. This is what I'm saying about the TT earlier. The tourists just think that it's an open road because there's no speed limits. They can be as nutty as they want. Manx people fortunately know the road. You get the odd accident, obviously, but yes, it is non-speed limit. Another thing, we have our own money. I don't unfortunately have any money to show you. I don't have any notes lying about. But I'll put a picture of one there, and yes, that is a Manx pound note. I know English people don't have pound notes, but we have pound notes. They go up to, I think it's what, £50 or something. English people can spend English money over here. We accept English money, but unfortunately, England don't accept Manx money. For some reason, although on one occasion I went to Blackpool for a week and they did accept a pound coin. I don't think he looked, to be honest, but oh well, you got to try, haven't you? But yeah, you can't spend our money in England, but English can spend their money here. So if you're ever coming across, you can keep your English money. You don't have to transfer it to Manx, but I advise you to spend your Manx money because they don't accept it in England. Or if you can save it till you're coming over next time. And we also have our own government as well. We are us. We're not joined onto anything. We do class ourselves part as the UK. We do follow UK rules. Usually we're about 3 or 4 years behind from the UK rules. It's like the smoking ban. We stopped our smoking ban 3 or 4 years later. Which I didn't smoke at the time, so I wasn't really bothered, but there was a lot of people in pubs that were really annoyed about that. That's pretty much it for the Isle of Man. If you want to, if you're planning on coming over, go and check out the museums, go and check out the horse tram, the electric tram, and the steam train as well. The steam train does have a good views. Well, for me it does anyway. I like seeing cows and sheep and fields and stuff like that. But it is a beautiful island. We do have a lot of green. as I said, there's only 90,000 people on the Isle of Man, so we have a lot of green. We have a lot of villages. We have we have one city, which is Peele, and we have two towns, Ramsey and Douglas. But if you're coming over to the Isle of Man, go and check those things out. The museums, especially because I like the Manx Museum and I like the House of Manannan. The House of Manannan is located in Peele by the castle, and the Manx Museum is located in Douglas. But yeah, that's pretty much it from the Isle of Man. Now you know about the island and why I live here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a like, share and subscribe. Even if you didn't like this video, yeah, well, thanks for watching anyway. But please give it a like, share and subscribe. And thank you very much for watching. And I will see you in the next video. And don't forget to keep it wheeling.